Hey guys, it's Jasmin, and this is Q&A Monday. If you are new to our Cat Lady Fitness channel, then welcome. We typically put out a video every Catter Day about cat stuff, and that includes kitty nutrition and kitty care tips, fun facts, and a whole lot more, as well as things for humans like stress management tips and techniques, and workouts, recipes, and basically whatever else I feel like posting. If any of that sounds like it may be of interest to you, then join our family and click that subscribe button below, as well as the little bell icon that's right next to it here on YouTube, so that you get notified whenever a new video goes up. And if you're watching this on Facebook, just follow our page, Cat Lady Fitness. Okay, so let's get straight into these questions. First question from Kimberly Barr, and she asks, MultiCat Households, the ins and outs, the good, the bad, how to do it right the first time. First of all, thank you, Kim, for the question and for always commenting and being so supportive of the channel and me and the boys. We appreciate you very much. Secondly, I'll probably have a video come out with this specific subject matter in the future, but I think that there's a happy balance. So it could be, in terms of hoarding, let's say, I think that it becomes pretty clear if there's perhaps an underlying mental health issue or something maybe deeply rooted and unresolved. And that's in terms of hoarding. That's in terms of when people basically start to collect items to kind of distract themselves from healing through whatever that real issue is and, attacking that thing at the root. But that's not what I think you're asking. MultiCat Households, I think, is a good thing because cats do well in partnerships or groups. Or for those who didn't know, a group of cats is actually called a clouder, which it makes me think of the movie Powder from the 90s mixed with chowder, which is a really weird combination, but clouder is what you call a group of cats. So that's a fun fact to know. As for how to do it right the first time, introducing your cats properly and patiently is key. And that's a video I actually have coming out later this week or next week, is how I introduced Puppy and Alfred. We were really, really successful at it. Like I've showed you guys in past video little clips of how they basically went from seeing each other for the first time and Puppy letting out a tiny hiss to within 2 weeks, they were cohabitating peacefully and even playing with each other in the house, which I think is pretty successful from a lot of the stories that I've heard from other people and things I've read about. So I'm really excited to share that process with you guys on the introduction steps that I took with them. And from there, it's a matter of the owner or the kitty parent or kitty slave, however you look at it, and your mindset. I think it's really important to not look at them as collection items or even as pets, but more as a part of the family, more as children, because you have to respect their species, first of all, but you also have to be honest with yourself about how much you can provide. Can you provide a cat who needs a lot of attention that time for attention? Can you provide another cat who tends to be a climber and like high surfaces? Can you make sure that your house is appropriate for that? And can you consider that with maybe belongings you already have to where you can live peacefully and cohabitate together? Can you afford to have a multi-cat household and constantly buy the kitty litter and the cat food? And especially if you're going to make raw cat food, is that something that you have the time and the finances to continue doing for multiple cats? You might also want to consider the types of cats you're rescuing. Do they shed a lot? Do you have the time to continuously keep up with a routine that involves cleaning your house, dusting, vacuuming, brushing your cats? Clearly, it's a commitment, and I think one that people should take seriously. And sure, having good intentions and a good heart is important when you're going to adopt an animal and bring him or her into your home. But it's also just as, if not more important, to take a step back and look at the logistics of the situation. Just like any commitment, just like a marriage or like a long-term contract of business, you really want to look at things as objectively as possible in order to be honest with yourself if, in this case, you can provide multiple cats with the best life as possible. I think this is his way of telling me, we're good with just 2 of us here, and I like my kingdom just how it is, which, gotta say, completely agree with him. This is Puppy, by the way. Say hi! No, you're just gonna be a cat? All right, next question is from Jason Perez, and he says, hi, Jasmin, quick question. When did you first get your cat? Also, would it be safe to give your cat an all-wet food diet? Thank you for the question, Jason. And I got Puppy, when was it? I believe it was 2014. Oh my gosh, I have to look it up. It's been at least 5 years, so it must have been 2014. You would think I would know this. But I feel like the years between 2013, honestly, and 2016 are just like one big wave. Alfred, however, came into the picture just almost a year ago. I think it was January 2nd, maybe January 1st, 2019. So Alfred's only been here for less than a year. And if you're new to this channel, I know they look exactly alike. And that's why I got Alfred, or that's one of the reasons why Alfred stood out to me. And if you want to see the story about how Alfred came into our home, then I will link that video in the description below. As for if it would be safe to give your cat an all-wet food diet, I would say that depends on the specifics of what kind of wet food diet. Now, in terms of if, from best to least, when you're going to choose a food to feed your cat, the worst food for your cat by all means is a dry kibble-based diet, especially if it's not grain-free, if it's one of those basically big box popular store name brands that you've heard of. That's the worst food you could feed your cat. So the next step up would be a wet food diet, mainly because it does have that additional moisture, which is so important for your cat to get, is that hydration and that moisture that the dry food lacks. And I do have a video entitled Why Dry Food is Horrible for Your Cat, which I will also link in the description below. But if you can't afford, or for whatever reason, can't give your cat a raw food diet that's properly supplemented, which is like the next tier up in the best foods for your cat, then wet cat food would definitely be the best thing. I would just always make sure to look at the ingredients and opt for something that's grain-free with the best quality of meat as possible. And if you guys do want to see a video of even the store-bought raw cat food that I've tried for Puppy and Alfred and how they reacted, which wasn't good, disclaimer. But if you also perhaps want me to make a video sharing the wet canned food that I would be okay feeding Puppy and Alfred, then I would be happy to do that. So just let me know in the comments below. But Jason, as for would it be safe to give your cat an all-wet food diet, I would say it should be safe to give them an all-wet food diet. Cats are very resilient creatures, and you will hear people all the time claiming that their cat lived to be like 26 on a dry kibble diet. Most of the time, by the way, these are indoor-outdoor cats that live that long, with the owners saying that they feed them dry kibble. Again, I can make a video about that as well. But like you guys know, I always say we can only do the best we can with the knowledge we have and what we can afford and what we have access to. So if the best thing that you have access to is a wet canned food, hopefully that's grain-free and with a high quality meat. I'd also avoid fish as one of the main proteins. Then you should be absolutely fine. Just make sure that you're getting your cat regular checkups, and that should include blood work annually, just to make sure that everything's right in terms of their health. Next question, what are your thoughts on feeding house cats alternatives from domestic meat to wild game? These include deer, pheasant, rabbits, turkey, squirrel, etc. Thank you. I think that would be great. I mean, I wish that I could feed Puppy and Alfred rabbits regularly. I wish I could make that their key source of protein, but it's really hard for me to find here. And I know you can order it frozen online, but I just haven't taken that step. I haven't extended my efforts out into that. I always just go local. However, if you're able to do that, I think all of those animals that you mentioned, deer, pheasant, rabbits, turkeys, squirrel, I don't know how you would give your cat regular servings of squirrel, As you might know, if you've been here for a hot minute, I do have somewhat of a squirrel playground / training ground in my backyard. That's more of like a TV through their catio screen for the cats than actual sustenance. That said, I think alternating the meat in a raw cat food diet is perfectly fine. And I actually have a video about this that goes into more detail regarding the different proteins I've tried and the differences I noticed in puppy. So I think the most important thing is to make sure that you're opting for high quality meat if possible, and also to always be in tune and pay attention to any changes in your cat's health or appearance or behavior according to what you feed your cat. In addition to that, to do whatever research you think is necessary in order to ensure that you're supplementing this raw food mix with whatever meat you're using properly, just in case perhaps you're using parts of the animal that might not be as high in taurine, which is key to your cat's health, as well as other nutrients. So I hope that answers that question, and I'll leave a link to that alternating proteins video in the description below as well. Next question, how often do you feed your cats? I have 5 and 6 month old kittens. Do your cats eat more often because it's not dry? So if you check the cat stuff video playlist, then I have a video on this, which I will also link in the description below, on how often I feed my cats, and also why you might have to feed kittens a little bit differently in terms of the amount and frequency. But I feed Puppy and Alfred twice a day. I feed them in the morning and then again right around dusk. Rarely, but I will sometimes give them a little bit of food in the middle of the afternoon if they seem particularly hungry, and also if I fed them really, really early, and if I don't plan on being back home until a little bit later than usual or something like that, then I might feed them 3 times a day. As for, do my cats eat more often because it's not dry? That's not true at all. The thing about the dry food is it doesn't fulfill your cat's nutrient needs, so that your cat is constantly eating it, and it seems like they're eating all the time. And a part of that is because their body is still craving and needing the nutrients that are void in this dry kibble. A second reason is because the kibble is so dehydrating. Another reason is similar to crap foods for humans, is that companies create these foods, they are lab created, manufactured to make you eat more and to make you crave more. So dry kibble is kind of like that crap food, except for cats. Most of the time they keep eating it because people free feed their cat and leave the food out all the time. And you know what? I swear I would be shocked at myself if I haven't made a video specifically about free feeding yet. I feel like I've had to have made that video, but I'm going to go look in the cat stuff playlist myself, because if I haven't made that video, that might take priority over anything else I plan on posting, because free feeding your cat is the absolute worst thing that you can do, not only for their health, but for their behavior. Inherently, you're completely dishonoring their instincts if you leave free dry kibble food out all the time. There are a number of reasons, but the fact is that when you start feeding your cat raw food, and when they get on that schedule with raw food, they actually don't eat more volumetrically, because that raw food contains, think of it like a concentrated, high quality amount of all of the nutrients and moisture and protein and fats and all of that stuff that they need, as opposed to filler foods, which is basically what dry kibble is. And I definitely direct you who asked this question to watch the videos that I link in the description and probably pinned comment. But since you do say you have 5 and 6 month old kittens, I will just tell you that your kittens, per pound of body weight, they will need a little bit more food as compared to an adult cat, because they are still growing, they're more active. And because it's not best for them to eat a huge amount in one sitting, then you'll probably end up, at least until they get into that young adult age, which is typically after 1 year old when it comes to cats. But if you want to go the raw food route, then you'll probably have to feed them more frequently at this age. And last question I will answer today, what breed are your cats? Because they are beautiful. Thank you. I think they're very handsome myself. So a while ago, I did the Face Paws cat DNA test for puppy. I have 3 videos for that, actually. I have the sample taking video, the first results report, and then the updated results report. And I actually have another one since then, because the more samples that they get from consumers, like you and me and anybody who sends their cat's DNA in, then the more accurate and precise they get with all the cat's results. Not only that, but since I did that last video, they also finally got those health marker reports in. And since I was asked so much, I did finally get Alfred his DNA test, and we just got the results. I think I told you guys this, and I'm going to be making that video soon, but we will compare and see if Puppy and Alfred just simply happen to be the same color and look very much alike, or how similar they actually are DNA-wise, which I'm really excited to share that with you guys, because I haven't even opened it myself yet. I think I've had those results for like 2 weeks, and I haven't opened it myself because I want to do it filming so that we all learn together. But anyway, stay tuned for the Alfred DNA reveal and comparison video, because that's going to be coming up. All right, guys, those were all the questions I have from you today. If you would like a question to be answered, and that can have to do with cat stuff, it can do with, Jasmin stuff. I didn't have any this week, but I know last week it seems like a popular question was, are you single? If you want to see the answer to that, then you'll have to go to the last Q&A. But feel free to ask anything that you like, and also give me suggestions for future videos that you want to see, including stuff having to do with fragrances, because I'm still feeling you guys out on that. I'm going to put out a couple more. I really love doing those. Like I said, it's an interest of mine, a hobby of mine, which I have many, but I also love to share stuff with you guys that I think could be beneficial or educational or just interesting. I look forward to reading your comments below. Please remember to click that thumbs up if you liked this video, because that helps me know the content that you like to see. Also, to click the subscribe button if you want to join the Cat Lady Fitness family, because I would love to have you. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.